Hi everyone, this is TheHande and doing my perhaps the second ever sort of He-Man face video slash reaction video. Some while ago, a couple of years ago, I think I did a reaction video when they were releasing He-Man and the Masters of the Universe on DVD around here, and they had created a new Finnish dub for it. Unfortunately, I had to take that video down for obvious reasons. I found this little article not too long ago. He-Man 10 Worst Episodes in the Series according to IMDb. This is from CBR.com, which I had never heard of before. It apparently stands for Comic Book Resource or something like that. So as you can probably tell, so this is an actually fairly recent. Last year, this one came out. And so what I believe they have done is that they've taken the aggregate scores of different He-Man episodes from IMDb and listed the bottom 10 worst episodes based on those ratings. I didn't realize IMDb gave individual episodes ratings. I thought that you could only rate like the entire show, and I'm more familiar with them with movies. So, I'm just going to be commenting on this. I'm not trying to, talk shit about this person, Nicole Mello, who wrote this. I'm just saying what I think about this particular, what IMDb has listed as the worst episodes. So, yeah, it says here that the impetus for doing this apparently was of course She-Ra and the Princess of Power, which is a bit of a weird angle because that show was going on for a while now. I know now, of course, it's concluded. All right, Andy, it's the spot number 10 with an average score of 6.6. So on IMDb they have like a score of 10. It was stars a long time ago. I don't know anymore. Okay, let's take a look at the moral of He-Man's 10th worst episode is arguably one of the show's most boring lessons. Sometimes being competitive can make people go too far. So always play it safe. I don't remember that being the moral of this episode. I mean, I've done an episode review on the game plan, and it's an episode that I have very mixed feelings about it. I kind of like it. Yeah, I do. I have an inherent thing with video game related stuff. Like, I always tend to enjoy it most of the time, but I will also say it's not necessarily one of the better episodes. Negator is kind of a cool villain. But yeah, I wouldn't really rank it this low. I'm a little surprised that it's gone. But then again, these are aggregate ratings. There's no, there's no telling what kind of people, voted on this. So let's keep going. All right, this next one is a little bit more understandable in my view. It's Not My Fault, also with a rating of 6.6. In the end, of course, audiences learn it's important to tell the truth, confess the mistakes, but this was not a lesson that viewers were interested in learning. I mean, It's Not My Fault is certainly not the only episode in He-Man where a child character is trying to run away from their responsibilities or not, there's a lot of episodes like this. There was a season 2 episode with a kid character. Iceman Cometh, I think. And then Return of the Gryphon has that kind of a child. It's the SCC episodes, if you will, are usually like this. But like I mentioned before, It's Not My Fault. The real problem with this episode is the fact that really nothing happens in it. It's such a badly written. This was by the Schultzes. So yeah, this was featured in my bottom 10, bottom 5 He-Man writers video, not just recently. And this was a dishonorable mention in my very, very first ever bottom 10 He-Man episodes list. I mean, it's a bad episode, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it was a dishonorable mention. But the thing is, like, it's a very boring He-Man episode. And, these kinds of episodes, like, they're not fun to watch, but they're also not, like, horrible. They're not really worth... The problem really is that there's nothing really worth discussing about this episode. Like, the most interesting thing that happens is that one of the Rhaego's, henchmen pulls out a lightsaber in the middle of the episode. I think I used a clip of that in the video where I talked about the 5 times He-Man ripped off Star Wars. In my view, that's more understandable than Game Plan. Like, Game Plan's not a great episode, but I wouldn't say it's horrible either. Greatest show on Eternia, again with a 6.6. In the pantheon of He-Man episodes, there are some that are that likely will never receive a reboot. Among those episodes is the season 2 episode, The Greatest Show on Eternia. As one of their least favorite episodes in the entire show, this episode arguably has one of the most straightforward plots in all of He-Man. The circus comes to Eternia, He-Man gets involved, Skeletor decides he's going to sabotage it as always. The audiences respect Skeletor's usual shtick, but his circus-themed hijinks leave much to be desired. I've heard before that there's a lot of people, like He-Man fans, who don't like this episode, and I don't understand why. Okay, I kind of understand why, but it's a silly episode. It's supposed to be funny, and in that regard, I think it's actually one of my favorite season 2 episodes. Like, don't get me wrong, like this is nowhere near like top 10 material for me, but it is really, but it's a hilarious episode. It's a lot of like what the fuck moments in this one. So I understand where the rating is coming from in regards to people don't like the whole circus aspect of this episode, but at the same time, yeah, no, this, in my view, this is nowhere near one of the worst episodes. Things that go bump in the night also with a 6.6. I wonder where the hell they're getting with these ratings. Like, you know, all of these first 4 episodes, they've all had the same. Yeah, they all had the same score. What the hell is this bullshit? I think so. So this is the one with the glitch. Okay, I'm gonna be level with you. This person who wrote this article is really not doing a whole lot of analysis of this episode. Things that go in the bump in the night is again one of my favorite episodes from season 2 because it's such a weirdo episode. It's the one where, you know, there's that scene where Skeletor makes Evelyn and Clawful walk the laser tightrope. I do think that it's a bit of a slow burn, and it's an episode that has a really weird vibe to it. It's I don't think it was a Don Heckman script, but it kind of has a Don Heckman-y vibe to it because it was a really, really weird fucking episode. But it's also it's hilarious, it's funny, and it's great details like that, especially because the first time you watch this episode, you know, you hear Glitch's name, and you know you get the completely wrong idea, you know, what his name is. What I'm getting about this is the people who rate He-Man episodes on IMDb clearly don't have a sense of humor, but okay, let's keep going. Now, the Great Books Mystery. All right, now we're getting, so this was a Harvey Brenner episode, and Harvey Brenner is, admittedly, was also on my bottom 5. No, it wasn't in the bottom 5 writers list, but he did get on dishonorable mention. So they're talking about like people reacting badly to this episode. It doesn't really go into it. So the idea was that Batroc, well, he did explain that Batroc stole all the books in Eternia. I've reviewed this one in my bad episode review video for season 2. 6.5. So now we have at least the ratings changed. Like, there was a reason I didn't include this one in the bottom 10 either. Like, this is a kind of a lame story setup, and it's also again, this I would describe as a really funny bad episode, especially because Orko is like obsessing about the unicorn book in this one. I don't know, you know, I've never done like a full-on bottom 10 of season 2. Like, this could maybe barely like sneak onto it, but I would still like say maybe like it would maybe be like the 10th worst episode. Like, overall, it's just kind of stupid. It's not really like horrible. Okay, Island of Fear. I approve this one. Let's see what it has to say. This plot doesn't have enough substance to please audiences. Now, I think this actually is part of the problem, and I actually genuinely do think this is a problem with this episode, is that this is another one of those He-Man episodes that just doesn't have a lot of substance. Like, yes, there's a mysterious floating island, Skeletor's on it, but nothing really interesting happens. It's a very bare bones kind of episode. I think this was an Anthony Saluski script. I might remember incorrectly, but I think it was. I mean, it's a buzz-off. I mean, I highlighted it mostly because it's a buzz-off episode, but really, it's the thing with this episode is it's the same problem a little bit as with It's Not My Fault, that it's completely like bare of any real content. It actually reminds me of an in-joke. I don't remember, one of the Filmation guys, I don't remember who it was, but they interviewed. He joked once that there was this He-Man script that they once thought about submitting, which was called The Day Nothing Happened, and basically all it would have been was bits of stock animation of characters like walking around and just doing like mundane tasks, like a He-Man script where there's no villains, no evil plot. It's literally just the whole episode is it's just that kind of stuff. They never really went. They never went through with that script idea, obviously. But it's episodes like this where they didn't really like write in a proper motivation. I don't even necessarily remember how the episode ends even. I maybe have to check it out. Oh wait, it has buzz off. No, I won't. Orko's missing magic. This was the one with Tick and Talk, wasn't it? So because it's a season 1 episode, this one gets a 6 out of 5. I mean 6.5. That really makes no sense to me. I think this is another one. This is one of those weird episodes. Like this is one of those. This had Zalt and Tick and Talk, and there's the blue 3-eyed giant with the giant chin as well. I like this. Again, I actually like this episode. Like it was definitely not the best of the. It was in the weird episode, Weird Creatures review, which I think was like the second last video in my very first He-Man review series. So it was like the 9th video out of the 10. And yeah, this one is kind of got a middle of the road, I suppose. But it's, again, I don't get how this is a bad episode. It's really not. Like but it does say here actually that this episode locks out. It has more high ratings than low ones. Like that's what I'm saying is that these are aggregate votes. It has the same amount of vote. It has the same score as the Island of Fear. This whole rating system. It just feels horribly arbitrary. I mean, I guess it's talking about people's personal taste, so whatever. The Cosmic Comet. Okay, I do not. That's one of my favorite episodes. That was in my original top 10. It might have been in my revised top 10 as well. Either disliked this plot or it was Prince Adam's subplot to recruit the help of Zagras the wizard that did it. Either way, the execution of this episode left much to be desired. It's the first fucking episode. Well, I guess technically the 4th, but I honestly don't. I don't get this one. I mean, it's a bit. I mean, granted, it has its clunky moments because it's a very early season 1 episode. Actually, the episode number is wrong. Is that I guess that's the chronological order. I don't pay attention to the episode numberings. They don't make a lick of sense. But yeah, I don't agree with this one at all. This is complete horse hockey. Now this one, yes, absolutely, I agree with this one. 6.4 seems bizarrely high again because these are aggregate scores. So I guess that, in this episode, Baron pretends to be Prince Adam to impress his girlfriend, but that just makes Modula kill him. What? Kill him in an attempt to join Skeller's camp. What? That is not what happens in the episode. What the hell? It actually says it there. Kill him in an attempt to join Skeller's gang. A universal experience, sure, but just not one good enough for the viewers. That and Modulok's a fucking dumbass. I think that's the bigger problem of the episode. Sorry. I know I've kind of been half-heartedly been reading this article because frankly, there's not a lot of substance. It's literally. Like this entry, it's literally 2 sentences. I mean, I know I make sometimes the joke entries in my top 10s and whatever, but this is like pathetic. This is not even going at all like in the deep dive why this episode's so bad. I have a review of this one too. And then Ancient Mirror of Avatar with 6.4. I mean, yeah, this one was on my bottom 10. Though this episode technically has the same rating as the next lowest, its average consists of more low ratings than the second episode. So, at least the guy did some statistics, I suppose. Viewers evidently did not enjoy this episode's plot of sailing to an ancient island on a boat that also contains a disguised Trapjaw. And that's it? Wow. Okay, I said... Can you write a more bare bones article than this? Okay, but yeah, this one is genuinely, this is I've said that the thing about this episode that pisses me off is the fact that it's because the title sounds very interesting, Ancient Mirror of Avatar. Like, you would think that the mirror would have something to do with it, but the whole episode is like the heroes going to Avatar, and then coming back. It's a SEC episode, so it's about the lighthouse getting broken down and then getting stranded at sea. But for the most part, it's a very it's a very low stakes episode. I think this was a Douglas Booth script, possibly. It was one of the. It was not on the entry for my worst writers, but I did mention it in the worst writers video. Yeah, the one good thing about this episode, and also why it was only number 10 in my like revised bottom 10. It's Mossman's best episode appearance by far. But Mossman was one of these ones that had only 2 episode appearances. The Royal Cousin has a rating of 7.1. How in the holy hell? The worst fucking episode. I don't know where they got the ratings from, actually. I'm trying to look it up right now, but it is like... Okay, 6.9 for The Good Shall Survive. So it barely missed out on this being on this freaking list, because the lowest it would go is 6.6. Or I mean, the highest it would go is 6.6. But that feels really, really bizarre to me, that The Royal Cousin would have, a rating that was that good, especially because it's such a horrible fucking episode. Yeah, what do I make of this? I mean, there are don't get me wrong, there are a few genuinely really terrible episodes on this, but I think the problem here is that the guy decided to do a freaking IMDb survey rather than just write their own opinions on what they thought were the worst episodes. I mean, they're all on YouTube right now. Like, there's no excuse not to watch them and just, make your own conclusions. I would be interested to see, like, what some other people... I mean, I saw some other websites that had listed the bottom 10 episodes, but this one was the one that jumped to, especially because a couple of these entries were kind of interesting. But, yeah, anyway, that wraps that up. So, until next time, I have the power, so can you.